realizing that we're all a team and we're all trying to work together and accomplish the same goals.
Everybody is just there to help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
What can I do for you? What can I help you with? They're offering. And it's because of you guys, your program.
Yeah.
We never would have done this if we weren't doing your APP program.
All right. Well, we are gathered here today on a beautiful Springfield allergy day as we're talking about it here. Must be the flowers in Dawn's office that are putting the pop of color here. But I am joined today by longtime friends and clients, the Ledoux Agency, headed up by Dawn Roberts. And we have the wonderful Miss Lori Lee here, as well as the diva Steven. So hello, everybody.
Hello.
I like the Miss America wave, Lori. For those of you that are on TV,
Steven is the
Miss America wave.
main one that can really get it done. There you go.
I get into it. I wonder if they teach that in Miss America. That's like how to pose in a bikini and bathing suits and how to answer very difficult questions. Like, how would you solve world peace?
I got an A in one of those too.
Is it the bikini?
Probably.
Well, we'll add that to your speaker kit.
Okay.
So why don't we kick it off by having you guys introduce yourselves, a little bit about your background history, how you got into this crazy insurance space. Do you want to start with Dawn?
Sure. I always say that I've pretty much been doing this my entire life, only because my dad started. Yeah, he started in 79. I won't say when I was born because that would just really age me. But I have pretty much been doing this since I was 10. I got my first paycheck when I was 10. Probably even started a little earlier than that. And then in or out for a few years in between then and in high school, and got my license when I was 19 and have been doing it ever since. So personal lines is mainly what we do. We also are trying to grow our commercial life and health. Yeah, I love doing it. So started out mainly doing like personal lines and doing non-standard type of business. And then just over the years grown into, was office manager, then general manager, then vice president, and then just recently CEO. And Lori's been kind of coming up through the ranks as well. I don't think she started when she was 10, but she's definitely started.
I want to know though, the times that you deflected, were you like, I'm out, I'm not doing this insurance thing? And like, what did you do on the times you deflected?
That was pretty much when I was living at home with my dad, trying to work with him all day long and then go home to him. It was really difficult. I moved out at a fairly young age, early 20s. I guess that's not super young, but as far as the way kids are nowadays, I mean, my son's almost 24 and I can't see him moving out for a few more years. So it is now.
He does add value to the household.
Yes, he does. He gets to watch and take care of anything else I ask him to do. Anyway, it's kind of unexciting, but I enjoy it and it's been good.
And you have a sister that works in the agency as well.
I have a sister that works in the agency. She's a few years younger than I am. She also kind of came up at a young age and she got licensed and has been doing it for about 20 years. And she's moved over into our finance side actually recently. So she got a little bit tired of the everyday in and out insurance stuff, which is things that I enjoy doing, but she just didn't. So she's on to the better and newer and bigger things.
Well, I think a lot of people can resonate with that, right? Like, the nice thing about having an insurance agency is there are a lot of different assets. And so, Lori, how did you get scooped up into the Ledoux ecosystem?
Well, I started out, so I'm from Minnesota.
Minnesota.
And I moved here quite a few years ago. I'm not going to say because I don't want my age to show either. And the very first job I got was with a Wendy's, and I worked there for 21 years.
You worked at Wendy's for 21 years? Were you like their longest standing employee? Did like Dave come out with a reward, like the Lori Lee Award?
Never met the guy.
Oh.
Never met him. I met his daughter.
The redhead, the one that's in the photo.
The one
right?
that was named after, yeah. So,
oh, that's cool. How did they make the Frosty so darn thick?
I can't tell. I swore to secrecy. They still pay me a contingency to keep it. Not
Keep the
really.
big court.
Charge. It's in the mix. I don't know.
Like cement. That stuff is like cement. Like every time I've had one, I'm literally sucking cement through a straw. It's delicious, but very difficult.
Actually, what's really good is you let it melt, freeze it, and then eat it. That way it gets crystallized. It's really good.
It's
Just
like
try
a
it.
fudgicle. Like it's like
Yeah, like a fudgesicle.
Okay.
Anyways, I left there. My daughter was starting school and I wanted to be an at-home mom. So I left Wendy's after 21 years and I took 2 years off and it was time to go back to work. I was going stir crazy. I'm not meant to be an at-home mom and I'm meant to work. So a friend of mine actually had an office here at Ledoux. He told Bob about me and I came in for an interview. He said he was semi-retired and was going to be retiring. Well,
Bob who said that?
Yeah.
he stayed semi-retired for almost 20 years later. I think he was semi-retired. So they took a chance on me. I did work for about 6 months for Aflac. I did get a little bit of insurance experience in there, not quite the same, but a little bit.
Before the duck.
Yes, the duck. And they started me up at the front desk, being a reception up there. I did it for about 1.5 years, and I told Dawn, I want to be an agent. And when I worked for Aflac, I did it through a work program. And so my work program actually paid for my license.
Oh, cool.
So Ledoux didn't have to do anything. I just went and signed up and surprise, I'm licensed.
Great news, guys. In the nights and weekends, I've gotten my license. And now what will you do with me?
And I chose to do the whole thing. I did P&C and life and health. I did thing. And I can remember the first day and when I finally, there's a time where it just, okay, all of a sudden it all clicks. It is, I got this.
Yeah.
And there were a few weeks, I think Dawn was wondering, what the hell did we do? We made a big mistake on this girl. And all of a sudden it just clicked and it was what I was supposed to be doing. And look at you now. Look at me now.
Yes, now you are the queen bee over all of the humans.
All the humans. I'm a human being.
And I think it's pretty awesome because Lori really kind of manages a lot of the operations, which you did, Dawn, for a while. And that means you can kind of focus on the technology and the strategy.
Oh, yeah, right.
I was going to say, I don't really see you doing that, but that's okay.
You should have seen her this last week.
Uh-oh.
She was going a little bit crazy.
Oh, that was the sales and service stuff, trying to separate things out. Not as easy as I had thought it was going to be. It was, when you've got, almost 9,000 clients and you're trying to figure out where they go. It's not as cookie cutter as just the insurance company and thinking that you can just be like, oh, well, this company goes here and all this company goes there. It's been a process.
It's one that's awesome. So just to, basically when we first met, everybody was doing a little bit of everything, right?
Yes.
So you'd have somebody taking payments to selling a policy, to doing a rewrite, to doing a change, a little bit of commercial, personal, Spanish, English. Kind of you come in and you get to do wherever you need to go, right?
More of everything.
Yeah. And then as you kind of go through some of the programs, right? Like making renewal calls, you start to see some people have big strengths and like that's their jam. I can think of a couple of people on the team. It's like, load me up with renewal calls and I'll call people all day long and do my thing. And then there's other people where it's like, I need to go kill something. Otherwise I'm going to go crazy. I need to sell something like Lori. If Lori doesn't sell something, I think every 3 days, she's going to turn into a vampire and start killing people.
Yeah.
And then there's some people where it's they're sweet, they're kind, but really their skill set is just the transactions. They like to just take a payment, update the system, gather the information. They're happy as a clam doing that, right? So kind of organizing the agency has been a big deal. And we want to thank you guys for allowing us to help you with that.
Wouldn't do it without you.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's just a little push in the right direction.
A lot of push. It's been great. We've needed this.
I have to say, when Don and I were first talking about doing this, and we were going over the programs, I'll never forget you two looking at each other in a meeting. And I was like, yeah, so we take away notepads. And you two were like,
No, what?
Not happening with us.
so that's something we're going to skip. I think we're going to bypass that section. Let us know what else there is.
I don't think Casey ever did get rid of her notebook.
Yeah, probably not.
But now that
Then
she's
you better get on that.
well, she's on finance now. I don't have to worry about
Right.
it. But that's Ron's thing.
I might drive down there and it might disappear one day.
She will blame us.
Yes. Well, now it's being recorded, so now we have proof.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's
When
all
Stephen randomly shows up, she's going to lock her office and call it a day. But I think it was pretty cool to watch the team kind of go through and like, okay, now we're not overdue on activities as much. And the biggest thing I always like to say is you guys worked really, really hard on the culture of the agency and getting everybody together and inclusive and the communication part. Because the one thing we didn't really talk about is when we first started working, there was 5 offices, right? And a pretty big footprint, like, from the farthest away was an hour?
Yeah, about an hour and 15 minutes, yeah.
Door to door and serving definitely, like you said, partially a non-standard community. And so, for a lot of agents out there, 1, it's hard working with family, and 2, it's hard working with multiple locations, right? I think it would be great just to maybe share a little bit about how you kind of got everybody more together on the same page, like the values, the vision, just how making that all work, because I think a lot of agencies struggle with that.
Well, I think it all really started with you guys. I mean, honestly, without you and starting that initial step as far as working with the leadership team to get us in line and on board and accountable to what we're supposed to be doing, and really kind of geared us into what we needed to be doing with our staff and propelling us into what we wanted to see the future look like, and, how we wanted to handle the staff and our clients and everything. Again, I think just getting ourselves in line and in order with all of that and figuring out what we wanted our mission and our vision and our values to be, really just like set the stage as what we wanted to, again, set forth for everybody else, which really helped. And I don't think that we even knew where to start. So with having, you guys come in here and the traction book, I think that was, I don't know. I don't even think we could have really done it without reading that and really like trying to piece everything in there together.
See where it works in our agency. We never thought of our agency like that, I think, until we read that.
Yeah, exactly. But I think that, it just realizing that we're all a team and we're all trying to work together and accomplish the same goals, and sharing the things that we wanted to, our goals and stuff, really helped people feel more included. And, it helped them have more of an interest in what we were doing in the agency, to where it made it easier to move along. And then when we started rolling out the other programs like time management and then renewal reviews, they realized it wasn't just about us, it was about them too. We've done a lot of programs in the past and a lot of things that we've just kind of started and they went by the wayside. And I think a lot of people felt like that was just going to happen again. So there was a little bit of negativity at the beginning and a little bit of pushback and just like, yeah, it's just another one of those programs that they're just going to start and not complete. But I think it really helped you guys encouraging us along the way. And overall, I don't think that it would have ever happened without that at all.
Absolutely.
Well, and I think go back to the beginning. I think just clarifying your own roles, right? Because sort of the agency kind of grew around you guys, and unfortunately your dad had passed away. And so he was kind of like this larger than life figure. I remember meeting everybody and it's like, well, he used to bring a lot of snacks. I was like, well, if he was partially retired and just bring me snacks, I think Bob would be amazing, and you guys were trying to figure it out on the back end. Obviously, it was very unfortunate his passing, but then when you guys kind of took the reins, it was like, well, what roles do we all want to play? Because I think everybody, and it happens so often, right? Like everybody was going to whomever they felt most comfortable with, or who should I go to? And so that kind of was the first step of just clarifying, okay, this is who you go to.
Yeah, I think we all felt like some sort of, I don't want to use the word boss, but I just feel like everybody kind of looked at each one of us in a different way. Like if almost like the mom and dad syndrome. Well, mom said it wasn't okay, so I'm going to go talk to dad and see what he says. And, maybe I'll get the answer I want. And there was a lot of that kind of playing around. And we're noticing a little bit more of that with some of the staff. They'll go to Lori.
Today.
Yeah, go to Lori.
like they...
Yeah, and then they come to me and it's like, so I talked to the
Lori won't let me.
Yeah.
But now you guys are more of a united front, right?
Yes.
Like, okay, cool. Let's go grab Lori then.
This used to happen with my dad all the time, and it would just frustrate me to no end, where it would be the same situation where they'd come to me and then they would go to him and he would just soothe everything over. And then it ended up like I was the bad guy. So I've learned that that is not at all what I want to portray. And so I'm very careful. It's obviously I want to respect their feelings and let them know that I understand what they're going through and everything. But the bottom line is, well, what did Lori say? Well, sometimes it's kind of difficult to play that good.
That's like a bracelet now, like WWLS. Or what would Lori do? WWLD. What would
Lori say?
Yes.
Lori
in
is
some of those situations, I know what Lori would do, and I wouldn't recommend it in work hours.
Right.
I think even in the time that I've been there too, working with the agency, there's been a lot of change. So I didn't come in until towards the end, but I still have seen a huge change in the staff attitudes and what they're doing and enjoying coming to work and that sort of thing. Can you talk more about that, or what do you think that has anything to do with everything that's been done?
Yeah, because I feel like, they know there's a goal. We've put out there that in the next 10 years, we want to be at 9 million. And we've put an incentive out there that if they are here for those whole 10 years and they help us reach that goal, there's a $25,000 bonus in it for them. So there is this little bit of like, okay, well, I want to stay
like
here.
They're bought in, like you care about them and they care about you.
Yeah. Yes. I mean, one girl's already just like, yeah, I'm gonna put it towards a brand new car. I can't wait. And 10 years is going to come fast. It will be here. I mean,
we're almost to 9. Well, we're at 9 years now.
No, we have 9 more. No, you mean 9 more to go. Yes. Yeah. We've already knocked one down. We got 9 more to go. So it'll come. But everybody that gets to be included in that had to be here through 2022. So those are the ones that are with the program.
They had to start making those renewal calls, every single last one of them.
Yes.
And I think too, the cool thing I've seen you guys develop is do some things that I think when we first started talking about it, everyone was like, so things like, okay, we have a non-standard book, but we're actually going to not take cash.
That was the big one.
Yes. And I remember even you guys being like a little nervous, like we'll slow step this, right? Like we'll maybe round up, we'll put notices, we'll do a fee. And then suddenly January 1 comes and it's like, we're not taking cash anymore. And it was sort of like the only pocket that you'll ever get, like coming off of COVID, right? Where it's like, if you're going to do it now, now is the time. And the team was like, OMG, we're going to lose all of our customers. And by not taking cash, did you guys see any big runoff of customers?
Very little.
Not enough to make it worth the amount of pain and suffering with all the bank reconciliation and everything else, right?
I would say the biggest thing that we've seen as far as numbers going down are because we've changed our rewrite program. We're only allowing basically 2 rewrites now and then no thank you. And that's a big deal for a lot of our Woodburn Salem clients.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and just to clarify what Lori's saying is if they lapse and you're rewriting them. So not just 2 rewrites in the whole history of the account, but just you're only allowed to lapse twice and then
go, bye-bye.
Yep. And I think another big one was when we don't quote monoline, right?
Mm-hmm.
So on any piece of new business is something Stephen brought to the table, even again, some non-standard business, it's a multi-line quote or nothing.
We've changed it up a little bit since we probably last talked. when we were doing the non-standard agents, it seemed to work really well when we were still having everybody kind of do everything. But when we separated everybody out and we needed to have the non-standard kind of do that quickly, get them quoted, get it done, we dropped that. But what happened is they already had that habit of doing it. So because they've had that habit and they're getting still the cross-sell incentive that we have, they're still doing it. Yeah. I mean, it hasn't, even though we stopped the requirement to help speed things along, it's still, out there and working. So it's done really well.
It's now a habit.
Yeah.
And our cross-sells have grown phenomenally.
We're writing more cross-sells than we are new business, which is crazy.
Yes.
I mean, we've never, ever been like that. So we used to have to just fight tooth and nail to get a cross-sell. It's like, just please write the extra piece of business. Now it's like,
Just ask.
yeah. Now they're realizing it's not a big deal. They can do it.
Well, and like, why go out in the market where it's actually very hard to write new business with underwriting guidelines and rate, and just, it's a very narrow market. What you could write almost anything before, you can't write anything now easily anyway. It's kind of a pain where I get someone good on the line and they have this. Why aren't they buying it from us? And I think they're seeing it's easier, it's quicker, it's faster. And your retention numbers have been creeping up because of it too, which is the most important part, is we can keep that going.
Slowly but surely, but I'm okay with it going really slow. I mean, I think that
As long as it's
going up.
Well, and I think the other cool thing is your team, because I always think when we talk about like showing people numbers, right? Like showing them the overdue activities and bringing up these numbers to people, or the growth or the retention, people are always a little like nervous about it. And I think at the beginning, maybe everybody's team doesn't really know what to do with the numbers, but now that they've seen them for 2 years, I think they like knowing where the agency stands.
Yes.
And, it helps them feel good about where they work, or it helps them understand, well, we need to pick up the pace, guys, right? So I'll never forget walking into Salem. The whole Salem team was about to punk me. Like, I was like, first thing in the morning, and they're like, oh, we're so B word. And they were using the B word. And I was like, dude, like right in front of me, we don't do that. And they're like, we are 22, or we're something like 22 overdue activities. I was like, we worked so hard to get it down. What is going on? And they're like, that's because we sold 22 policies yesterday. and they were like, I was like, well, you could be backlogged if you sold 22 policies yesterday. And it was like a record breaking day. They were like, we were just bind order. And they were having a blast just selling policies, right? And they were like, and that's all new business. That's no regrets. And it's, some agencies you'd walk into and be like, oh, so busy yesterday, we find 22 policies. But your team was like, bam, like they were chasing people in the parking lot. I think David had like 3 apps on people signing at the same time. And, it's like, that's the fun stuff of insurance that I think we sort of forget. But I'll go back to
it very often anymore. It's just not, I remember, when I first started in the business, it was just like you had people like waiting outside, waiting to come in and, to get quoted and written so they can take that SR22. And it was just like, it was no big deal to write 15 to 20 applications in a day. And, it did the adrenaline, you're just going, and it felt really good that you're just like helping all these people. But it's definitely slowed down over the years. So yeah, when Salem did have that amazing day, I mean, it just makes everybody on a high. Feels really good.
It's also inspirational to the other team members. I think that was the thing. Like everybody was like, that's amazing. Not like, oh, why do they get all the leads? And it's like, no, it's kind of just how the whole world comes around. But I think it's amazing what you guys have done of putting people in the right roles and the right seats on the bus too. I think about like Vivian, and I think about all these people where everybody like had this one job and not everybody was like the best fit for just one role. And now that we get everybody in the right roles, and I think about the 2 Heathers and like how I feel like they're just in the right roles, like for them. Yes, they have 2 Heathers, which I think is a movie, isn't it? 2 Heathers.
2 Heathers.
Yeah.
The three. It's called Heathers.
Heathers, yeah.
So you guys have the whole movie in there. I just think the world of you guys. I think you've done an amazing job. And I think a lot of times when people think non-standard, they kind of are like, oh, non-standard. But you really do blend both, right? Like you have the non-standard side, the standard side, the commercial side of things, and getting them to all work together under one roof, I think is pretty amazing. You guys have put all the hard work in, and now we're going through this hard market. And I feel like agencies like yourself that put that work in are going to be so positioned to thrive during this market, where there's a whole lot of agencies that are just going to be struggling to keep their head above water.
That's true. Yeah, we feel like we've definitely, been able to kind of launch ourselves into that position to where it's like, okay, hard market, that's okay. We got it. No big deal.
You're already doing the renewal calls. You have a sales process. So when new people call in, you can convert them and close them quickly. Everybody knows their roles on the field or is getting there based on the last final change. The incentive plan mirrors everybody's work and hard effort. And you have the right technology too. Like you are capable, where there's a lot of agencies out there right now that aren't fully staffed, and you guys have done a great job of that. So it's now time to shut those other people down.
Right.
That's what I know Lori wants to do. She wants to chokehold those people into submission.
Oh, my ultimate goal is to be licensed in multiple states and doing everything via internet. And
is that because you want to go to Minnesota in the winter?
No.
Oh.
No.
You weren't thinking about the Arctic location of Minnesota in the winter?
No.
I think Casey thinks about a Maui location.
Yeah.
Probably not gonna happen.
Well, I know Don thinks about a Phoenix location.
I do. We're down there warm.
Get out of the cold and get out of the snow and the meh. Well, thank you guys. I don't know, Stephen, if you have any other questions for these lovely ladies.
No, I think it's just amazing that they built the culture, defined the culture, and that's what's now moving them forward. And I think that's what's important to remember is once they got the foundation set, everything started moving in the right direction. So
I think
that's
it's
amazing.
taking, the care that we have about our staff. I mean, our values is family. And I think that has really just really transitioned and they understand that. And we constantly are talking about it and they feel it and they know that we want them here and they want to be here. I mean, we all have our days, of course, but I think overall we have a really good group here.
Well, and the teamwork has grown phenomenal since we've been doing this, especially since the split. Everybody is just there to help anyone. What can I do for you? What can I help you with? They're offering. They aren't waiting for the hand to raise. They're just offering, hey, I'm caught up. What can I help you with?
They realize it's not just their business, their book. It's the agencies and whatever they do to nourish that for one person, it's going to help them in the long run as well in the agency.
Totally. And I think the pivotal moment was everybody was trying to figure out their roles with your dad's passing, right? And so, everyone trusted Bob, right? It was there was this immense trust that, because I feel and I had only met Bob in a previous life where Don, you and I met, I think maybe only once, but if your kid was sick, Bob was going to be the first person at the hospital, or here's a meal for your family, or just taking care of you. I love the family thing, you were down in your luck, Bob was going to fill up your gas tank, Bob was always going to be there. And so then that person leaves and there's this sort of chaos that happens, not intentionally, but just a little void. And watching everybody then start building that trust with you guys, I think was so huge, because there was some crazy changes that got brought to the table of the cash, the renewal calls, and even some offices kind of relocating and moving around. And every time I have to announce one of those, we're going to call every client, guys. And every time something would get announced, people were like, that makes sense, because they trusted your vision and your guidance. And these people are so out of touch with reality. It was, okay, I could see how this would improve my day because of that groundwork that you guys built. And so when the team trusts you, all these other things get so much easier.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We've definitely seen that over the years. And she started.
And it's because of you guys, your program. Yeah. We never would have done this if we weren't doing your APP program.
I think it's we outline it, but you guys do the work. And then we don't let you be a chicken shit about it.
I mean, we know that we've got this homework and all of it, or even myself and Lori, for sure. We're just oh man, we got to meet with Kelly next week. We got to watch our videos, and everybody felt it. We were just yes, yeah, we don't want to get the wrath of Kelly.
That first book we read, Dawn and I would see each other out the back door during our lunchtime. We would be out the back door in the sunshine reading our book.
Like walking in the parking.
Yeah. What page you on?
It just kind of sets everything up into perspective, right? Of like, how do you operate? I think a lot of times agencies don't see themselves as businesses. It's like, well, I'm just an agent and I sell insurance. So it's like, well, no, I actually have to care for 20 plus people or however many people you guys are today, right? And not only that, then you have to care for 9,000 clients, like you just said. Well, that's a whole lot of people to care for.
What?
And you guys don't look exhausted. You guys look like you're just getting started.
We hide it very well. There's a lot of laughter, you know, and that helps keep things going.
100%. Yes. We actually like each other. Or, there's probably a lot of people that don't. Tiny bit. There's times I just want to punch her in the face, but that's okay.
I'm getting old, okay?
No, Lori, you're never retiring, just for the record. Like, I know there's like the 10-year like vision, but I feel like Lori's gonna be like, I'm gonna be here 10 years, and each year it's still 10 years, if that's what the deal is. And when you do retire, I'm flying out for your retirement party.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, you should. We already kind of have it planned.
Don't tell me you're not retiring yet, though. So,
Oh, no.
Absolutely not.
What would I do?
take out with your husband.
No, I could not retire. I got about 10 years in me yet.
That's what I'm saying. It'll be 10 years forever. In 5 years, it'll be 10 years.
No.
Tom's like, yes, it will.
She'll get tired of my memory loss.
No, we'll
She's
just like
already
freeze
getting
you like they
tired
do
of-
in Disney. They'll just cryogenically freeze Lori and bring you back to life.
Oh, that's a good idea. Shove her in the freezer.
My
We got
daughter
some things,
probably
we got
help
some
with
things to
that.
look into.
Well, I mean, I know you do have your own fridge in your office, which is hotly contested. So,
Yeah. If you're ever hungry, just come to my office.
yeah, Lori always has snacks.
And if you're ever thirsty, you come to mine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Dawn always has cocktails.
The alcohol, I guess, clearly.
Yeah, it's like a whole party. Who wouldn't want to work at Ledoux, right?
The beverages.
All right. Well, we're going to let you guys get back to business, but thank you guys so much for everything and being a part and sharing your story. And we appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye,
Bye, guys.